The Quidditch World Cup is shown in the Goblet of Fire, and doesn't it look fun? But where did it actually come from? How often is it, and how's it evolved? Let's look into it. So, the Quidditch was an ancient sport that's been played for centuries, and the World Cup dates back to at least the 14th century. The earliest recorded Quidditch Cup occurred in 1473, but it wasn't as organised as it is today. The game itself is said to have evolved from a combination of Muggle games and magical games combined together. The first official, widely recognised cup took place in 1792, so quite a bit after the ancient beginnings. By this time, Quidditch had become a global sport, with magical communities from all over the world fielding teams. As the sport grew in popularity, so too did the desire for an international competition. In the early years, the World Cup was far less structured than it is now. It was more of a regional event, with teams from neighbouring countries in Europe or part of the British Isles competing, though it quickly spread to more distant countries. The event was often chaotic, but as Quidditch became more organised, the competition followed suit as well. By the 19th century, the World Cup had become a major international sporting event with a proper tournament structure. Teams from various countries competed in qualifying rounds, and then a final match was held at a neutral site. Over time, the Cup became a massive event, with thousands of spectators attending and viewing parties held around the world. So let's look at the 1994 Quidditch World Cup, which is the one in the Goblet of Fire and the Dark Mark. Now, there was a famous moment which happened in this match, and we know this was between Ireland and Bulgaria, and the Quidditch World Cup was held in England. And so this match is actually infamous for the dramatic and spectator displays of Quidditch skill, especially from Crumb, because he caught the snitch that won the game, and he became an iconic figure after this event. But obviously something else happened which made it quite iconic. So not only was it the backdrop for the Goblet of Fire, but it was obviously where the Death Eater attack happened as well. So after the match happened, the celebration took a turn when Death Eaters stormed the sites, the camps, and they cast the Dark Mark of Lord Voldemort into the air. It led to widespread panic and violence, and obviously that event foreshadowed the rise of Voldemort and his power and the conflict that would follow. So that is obviously why, for us, that is quite a significant thing. There are other significant areas. So for instance, in 1809, it was noteworthy because it marked the last time that the German team won the title. And in 1473, it was noteworthy because it involved the first known use of the vanishment charm to clear the pitch of a foggy mist. So there's all these little things that have happened that have made it significant, or made these things significant. But obviously for 1994, it was quite a different turn of events. So in 2014, so this was the most recent World Cup event mentioned, and that was in 2014. And it saw a major return of the Quidditch World Cup after the events of Voldemort's rise and fall. This event was broadcast around the world, with magical and muggle spectators alike witnessing this incredible match. The finals of this particular World Cup were set to be thrilling, but although it obviously wasn't continued within the Harry Potter series, because it's biannual, the legacy, you feel it in the Wizarding World anyway. You know, there's references to Quidditch anyway, so it doesn't die off. It's always mentioned. You always know that this is happening in the background. So let's look at the role that the Quidditch World Cup actually has in the Wizarding World. And the first one is international rivalries. So it's a major aspect of Wizarding culture. Teams like Ireland, Bulgaria, England, France, Scotland, Germany and Australia have long-standing rivalries. It's a bit like the World Cup for us, the Football World Cup, I guess, where you have teams that maybe are notoriously don't get on or are massive rivals because this team won last time but beat this other team by a point or a goal. And it's the sort of thing that influences the magical communities. So you might find that you are a Bulgarian fan, you've then got a fan who is of of the island team, they're going to be, it's going to have a natural conflict being built, because they're going to think their team's better and they deserve to win and this player cheated. So it does create rivalries, be it in the spirit of fun or not. Again, it's like I said, it's similar to how I think football and the World Cup works for us, to be honest with you. It is a magical spectacle as well. Now, it's not just about the Quidditch, it's about bringing lots of people together to celebrate their culture, to celebrate magic, but also it shows complex enchantments, and as well as that, a massive display of skill. Now, not just magical skill, but riding the broom, catching the snitch, scoring those points. You know, there's so much that goes into it. It really is just a spectacle. And it's not just the matches that make the World Cup important, it's the international community that it created. So magical folk from different countries and cultures, they gather, they exchange ideas, they share their love of sport, they share their favourite moments. And it's the atmosphere that really creates it. It's festive, it's celebratory. And you have your favourite players that you can watch and enjoy and cheer on. So it fosters this amazing atmosphere that you can share with people you've never met before. Now, obviously, there is some significance of the World Cup in Harry Potter. So, for instance, as I've mentioned, Goblet of Fire, the Dark Mark is definitely one. But it's also the first time Harry really gets to see Quidditch outside of Hogwarts, or outside of playing with Ron and his family at Ron's house. He gets to see it on such a scale, how grandiose it can be. And of course, I know it sets the scene for the darker scenes later on. It's very much, it goes from very happy to very dark. But it's nice that Harry gets to really experience this side of the magical community that he hasn't seen before necessarily. Especially growing up with Muggles, this was all new to him. So him being able to experience the World Cup must have been amazing. Must have made him feel like a normal wizard boy. You then obviously have the players. You got Victor Crumb for the Bulgarian team. You then know that Ginny goes on later on to be a Quidditch player as well. So it does set those people up, but also, Crumb is remembered for his rivalry with Harry and for his skills and all these sorts of things. But again, it kind of just mirrors, for me, sports that we have. You have your favourite players, your famous players, the ones that are known for doing a certain thing. So it kind of just all brings that together as well. So in conclusion, it is just an iconic event, and it's been going on for years. Now, obviously, as we've mentioned, it has evolved over time as it's needed to. As the sport has become more sophisticated, so has the competitions. These stadiums have become more complex, more grandiose, more spectacular. The opening ceremonies have become bigger and more exciting. The Cup is a source of national pride for people. It is, the teams that they follow, they love, and they are the best. Now, obviously, as we've mentioned a couple of times, it is a backdrop in 1994 for the rise of Voldemort, but there's so much more to it that I would love to have explored in the movies. Obviously, appreciate it's not really the point, but there's so much more there in the World Cup that we could look at, and it's got such a vast, rich history. But that's it for this video, guys. I just thought it'd be really fun. We've looked at Quidditch through the ages to look at the history of actually the World Cup specifically. Let me know what you think is the best part about the Quidditch World Cup, and if you think any changes should have been made or how things could have been different for Quidditch. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, you take care.